I'm on the Soul Man, the first TV show I told you I was working on, right?
Mm-hmm.
They have this part. Now I always was clear with them. I was like, hey, I want to be on the show too. I'm a comedian and an actor. I write the part. I write the scene for that part. I write it. They make me audition for it. I don't get it. Jay Phillips gets it.
All right, here we are during the strike. Some people ain't got nothing to do. You know, they just hanging out at home. It was like, yo, you know what? Let's catch up with Michael Yo. And because I know he ain't doing nothing either. It's Malik S. What's up, brother?
What up, man? What
How you
up,
been?
man? I'm good, man. I mean, considering I'm good. Everything's good, you know.
So I know you're a stand-up comedian. We'll get into that. But you're
Right.
also a great writer.
Right.
So being a writer during this strike, what do you do? I mean, like, what are you doing with the day?
Well, at first it was fun. It was like, oh yeah, I get to be home and relax. Now it's like, all right, damn. I'm just
It's like I need some money. All right.
yeah, yeah. It's like it's a lot of withdrawals and no deposit. You know, it's like, damn. So, but I mean, still everything's good. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Wealth. I'm healthy. So hey man, what's gonna be is gonna be. It'll pass. I hope.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. No, it will eventually have to pass. But I
Right.
say this, man, it looks like it's a long haul, man. This is the rumor I'm hearing. I was talking to this big director the other day,
Mhm.
and he says, here's what's gonna happen. He goes, put money on this. And I go, I hope it doesn't happen this way.
Right.
He thinks it's gonna go all the way right before December 15th when people break. And then they're gonna strike a deal before the 15th and say, all right, we want everybody working in January. Because he says all these streamers get to clear their books with not spending money for the rest of the year.
Right.
They all hit their bonuses. They all way over. And then they're like, in January, we'll pick it up.
That sounds plausible, man. I mean, it's crazy. The only hope to this is that I don't want to speak to industry, but like the networks. Really, it's only 2 networks now. It's 4, but it's really 2 because ABC owns Fox.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But really, CBS and NBC at some point, I hope, decides and realizes the other people don't have their best interest. And they decide to break off and be like, I don't know if they legally can. It might be, I don't know, because I'm feeling like they might be like, we just gonna make our own deal because we need advertising money. The thing is, the slick shit is Apple, Amazon, ABC, who owns Disney owns them, right? And Fox.
Yeah.
All those people got all kind of other money. So they can go, yeah, whatever, we're gonna ride it out. But like CBS, no, all their money is programming.
Yeah, no, they need the money.
So at some point, I'm hoping they realize, like, wait a minute, are they really fighting the writers and the actors? Are they really trying to crush us at the same time? It's a win-win because let's say CBS does decide to ride out with them. We're gonna go as long as you go.
Mm-hmm.
They stock gonna drop. They might end up having to sell to Fox, to Disney.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Or they might have to start giving back Netflix the stuff they took back from them because they were trying to do their own streaming. They might have to start licensing that back out to Netflix.
You know what? I've never heard that angle, but it makes so much sense.
So then Netflix wins. So it's like at some point you gotta, because remember, they represented by the APTMP, whatever it's called.
Yeah.
But they're not really a real group. Everybody still got their own interests within that group. So you gotta ask yourself, like, okay, hold on. Netflix got millions. They the top dog as far as subscribers. So they probably can hold out. Disney got all this other money.
They got Mickey Mouse money. You can't mess with Disney.
Yeah. Apple don't give a fuck about no streaming.
iPhone selling like crazy.
They don't care nothing about their streaming. Amazon don't care nothing about their streaming.
Packages at your house.
So you got to understand, like, okay, what are we really doing here? Because this is how we really make our money. We don't make our money. It should be like me and you.
Yeah.
If we was pure stand-ups, we didn't do nothing else. And then it's like the richest stand-up comedians just say, yeah, we should just not do stand. Well, this all I got, bro.
Yeah.
You do movies, you a producer, you got all this other stuff, but you want me not to do the only thing that I do.
Yeah.
So I think CBS and NBC at one point have to realize, like, wait a minute, this might not work out in our favor in the long run.
But see, here's a problem, and I'm just look, after this we'll get off of industry and we'll jump into your life. But the problem is there's no loyalty, and I want to say that even on our side, because let's say CBS and NBC broke it, right? We're gonna take care of you writers and actors. But as soon as Netflix and all them back, everybody gonna be selling to them. Like there's not gonna be any punishment to them. You know what I mean? Like it would be amazing. Like if I was CBS and NBC and go, you know what? If we broke this just for us, they can stay in it and really supported the actors and streamers. I mean, actors and writers, right? I hope they show loyalty to us and bring all the It's almost like we get first look of everything. You know what I mean? And then
that's a situation you probably could do that, to be honest with you. It's like even with me right now. If CBS broke out, let's just say, I don't know, let's say they had to pay big ass penalty, right?
Yeah.
And they came to all the people that work for them and say, look, we broke out. We want to get back to work, but we're going to put all y'all on first look deals. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
What I'm gonna say? No, I'm gonna wait to not work, and
no, it's true.
Like you gonna be like, okay, whatever. All right, cool. You know what I'm saying? Because
but what first look deals take money to hold you in place, and where it's kind of like, yo, we want to get y'all to work. I don't know. The whole issue is money, and it always gets in the way, and it's like,
but right, you. Speaking usually when you on a show or if you're right on a show, they usually have a first look deal.
No, they do. Yeah, they do. Yeah, that's true.
So
that's true.
It's not nothing that's gonna. They have that anyway.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I mean?
All right, let's talk. Stop about the strike because people in Middle America going, I don't give a damn about this. Yeah, go ahead.
Let me say this real quick, and then I feel like, man, this strike could be over tonight if the top 15 box office actors and the top 10 writers got together, was like, either y'all in this strike, do right by people, or we're going to start our own streaming services. Should it be over? Because they would have enough money and capital to do it, and Wall Street would back them. Why wouldn't they?
Mm-hmm.
If you had The Rock, Kevin, fucking all the top dogs, all the top actors. I'm talking about
Malik. Yeah, I got you.
It'd be over. Because like, oh shit, we're gonna lose them. They're not gonna work with us because they got their own thing now. Because getting your own streaming service, it's not like NASA. It's not like it used to be. You could. My man Kevin on stage, he killing it.
Yeah.
Just a regular guy.
I know. So, that's amazing. But that's the thing, is that it sounds so easy, but it never happens, right?
It could to me, even if it was just a fake threat, if you just got that group together to be like, hey, this is what we're thinking about doing. If you're not gonna do right by us, we'll do right by us.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's just like, we're starting our own movies, we're starting our own TV shows, we're gonna start our own project, and we're gonna get everybody to come with us.
You know what it's like, and I don't support this at all, but you know how Saudi Arabia kind of invaded golf and go, yo, we're gonna if y'all don't take care of your people, we're gonna take care of them for you, and we're gonna change the game.
Right.
Yeah.
But they could do it.
Wall Street, now they part of it.
They're gonna back them up, so they're gonna be like, yeah, fuck it. Well, yeah, we'll give y'all $2-3 billion. Why not?
Yeah.
But
man, we'll see. We'll see,
man.
So Malik used to live in Miami. You know, I was a big 305er from 2001 to 2012. When did you live there?
What? My whole life. I'm born and raised.
Oh, okay. So I was on the radio at Y100 down there.
What?
Michael Yo. I did afternoon drive from 2000, from like 2001 to 2012.
So I heard you.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you heard me.
I clearly remember hearing you.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, I was there my whole life.
Yeah, and I was
We
friends
did
with
radio.
DJ Laz and all those people and all that stuff from
I,
Power 96.
I did a week with DJ Laz one time when they was trying to see if they wanted to put a comedian on their morning show, and it was like popping back in the day. Yeah, I did a week with him.
And then back in the day, Khaled was just a nighttime DJ. You remember that?
Barely, yeah.
He did nights for WEDR back in the day.
Yep.
99 Jams.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I wonder what happened to Laz. I ain't heard from. He still in radio?
Yeah, he's on Sirius XM. He's on Pitbull station.
Okay, that makes sense.
You know what's crazy? First time I met Pitbull, he sold me a tape out the back of his trunk.
Yeah.
I was a music director at Y100, and I remember I was the second person to play a song. Laz was the first because Laz was always close with Pitt. But man, and that dude's still the same. To see him blow up like that, become Mr. Worldwide, it's so cool. And you're in the industry too, where you get to see people that nobody knows, and then all of a sudden everybody knows. And that's pretty crazy to watch, right?
Right. Yeah, especially when they stay true to themselves, then it's beautiful. You know? So like somebody like Pitbull, you like, man, that's well deserved. And he's doing good things with his fame.
Yeah, he is
famous, you know what I mean? So but I didn't. So were you doing comedy back then?
No. So I did my first set in 2012 at the old Miami Improv. And you know that club.
Oh, yeah.
If you didn't bring it, they would talk over you like it was supper. You know what I mean? They did not care at that club. So it went so good. The owner of that club, my second night, said, I'm gonna open up for the Wayans brothers. It was Marlon and Sean were the first celebrities or whatever to put me on stage my second night of doing comedy. And it went well. Huh?
Nice. That's crazy. That's a crazy story.
Yeah, so it kind of took off. But I remember they say, get off at the light. I didn't know what a light was because it was only my second time.
Right.
I stayed up there for 15 minutes. And my second time ever doing stand-up, I stayed up there for 15 minutes at their show. Luckily I knew them, so they were nice about it, but it was a funny moment, man. So they were the first people to put me on. How'd you get started in comedy? Since you were a teacher, were you doing comedy and teaching?
I was doing comedy and teaching. I got a crazy story how I got started. So when I got started, my first comedy show I ever saw was the Kings of Comedy. Oh. I didn't even know like you can do comedy like all the time, like weekly. I thought you just did comedy on TV. So with that being said, every time I saw a comedian do a comedy on TV, they would do a different set. So I didn't know nothing about comedy. First show I go to, I didn't even know it was comedy clubs. I didn't know that was a thing. I thought Kings of Comedy, I seen these guys on TV. I'm gonna go see them. Seen Ced host Comic View and Steve Harvey show. So me and my boy, we get some tickets. We go down there. We watching the show. This was the first run where DL wasn't on there yet. Ced came out there and killed it. Bernie killed it. And Steve was doing his thing, but the energy wasn't quite the same. But
that's when Ced was closing the show, right? When they first started?
That night, Steve was closing the show.
Steve, okay.
Steve was closing the show when they first started.
Yeah.
So Steve went up there and he was doing his thing, but it just wasn't the same energy. And in addition to that, I always look back, I was so much younger then, and Steve was always so mature. So with that being said, me and my friend kind of zoned out a little bit.
Yeah, I got you.
We couldn't relate to some of the stuff he was talking about.
Yeah.
And Bernie was just funny because Bernie's voice and Ced was kind of young, cool uncle.
Yeah.
So anyway, Steve goes up there, so we start talking to each other. He was like, man, you was funny as him. I was like, dude, you tripping, man. That's Steve Harvey. He's like, man, you should try it. I was like, hell no. Nah. So he's like, Steve's still performing. He's like, man, I think I'm going to go to the military. We just out here. We ain't doing nothing with our lives. I think I'm going to join the military. I'm going to try to play football for the military. I'm like, what? He was like, yeah. I said, well, dude, if you do that, I'll try it. And he retires from the military, I think in like 11 months, 22 years.
Wow.
Yeah. So he really did it.
He really did it.
And I really did it. Mind you, and I'm glad you know the Miami thing. So I don't know anything about comedy. The only thing I know is Marvin Dixon's on the radio.
Oh my goodness.
I hear he's a comedian.
Yes.
So here's me, 21 years old or something like that. I go off this when they moved to off 95.
Yes, I know what you're talking about.
I go to the radio station I wait outside the gate for Marvin. He comes out. I'm like this. And he's like, the fuck, who's this kid?
Yeah.
He comes over. I was like, hey, man, I know you Marvin Dixon, man. I think you're so funny. I want to do comedy. I don't know how to go about it. How do I start? He was like, all right, well, there's this club called an Improv. Go down there on Monday nights. Remember the Monday nights?
Yes.
You do the open mic. So I said, okay, bet. So I go twice. I just watch. I'm just like, ooh, nah, I can't do it.
Yeah.
So the third time I go, I put my name down, psyching myself. I was like, well, if they pick me, if they don't pick me, oh well, it ain't my fault. I tried. They pick me. I'm like, fuck, I don't have no joke. Because I don't know you're supposed to have jokes. I thought every time you did comedy, you just talked and then that was it. And then you move on. I go up there, I do 5 minutes, kill.
Oh, okay.
Just talking, just being myself.
Mm-hmm.
So I go, it goes well. I go back again next week and I'm seeing some of the open mics doing the same thing. I'm just like, you did that last week, though.
Yeah.
I was like, why are you doing the same thing? It's like, I'm working on my set. I was like, wait, you could do jokes again? Like, yeah. So that's when I start like learning to write jokes and have a set. Then about 3 months later, Marvin calls my house. He's like, yo, man, what's up? I've been hearing about you. I want you to come do the 10:30 show. Remember the 10:30 show on Tuesday?
Oh my goodness. Yes, I do.
Bro, so
you will get booed off so quick if you're not good.
I used to get booked for both shows, 8 and 10:30.
Yes.
So I want you to do the Tuesday. I want you to feature. I'm like, Tuesday, the 8 o'clock show, I'm like, bet, I'm ready. But
yeah,
10:30, I was like, oh my God, I gotta use the bathroom all day.
Yeah.
So I go to the club, go to the Improv, introduce myself, and Marv was like, wait, you the little dude that came to the radio station? I was like, yeah. He was like, hell no. He didn't even know it was me. He was saying there's this new cat around. So I end up doing that night. It went well, and me and him been tight ever since. That's how I started comedy. I never knew I wanted to be a comedian.
So because every comic, some comics have that story, because just like you, I did well at first couple of shows. Do you remember that show where you thought, oh, this is easy, and then you had a tough show? Did that ever happen?
Yeah, and it's the crazy thing. It was my fault though. I'm in college. I'm doing a show at my college that I'm still currently attending. I'm doing comedy maybe a year now. Maybe I'm popping. People knowing me now, and I'm doing my show at college. It's going okay, and for some reason, I just started like trying to mess with this one dude in the audience. That dude roasted my ass. Like, I was, he just stole the show from me.
You picked the wrong person, huh?
Picked the wrong damn person, man. And it was like, that dude, he handed it to me, man. I was just like, well, all right, So yeah, that's one show I remember. Like, yeah, that didn't go so well.
All right, Marvin Dixon. What year did you start then in Miami? 2000. 2000. All right. So were you heavy in it ever since you started? You never stopped?
I never stopped ever since. But I did have a teaching job. Because I started when I was still in college. So I was going to college. And I went to college late. After I graduated, I didn't go to college till like 5 years later. And I realized I probably should do something with my life.
This comedy don't pay too much money when you first start.
So I was going to college and doing comedy. And then I ended up graduating. So I'm doing comedy just locally. It ain't like I'm dependent on it. I end up getting a teaching job. And then right when I get my teaching job, few months later, I end up being on a show with DL, and now he wants me to go on the road with him. I'm trying to balance both out, but DL works every weekend.
Yeah.
Now I'm running out of sick days, and so I take an absence so I could still keep my benefits. So I was able to take a leave of absence from like spring break all the way to the end of the summer. Then they was like, yo, you coming back? And I had to make a decision. I was like, no, I'm not coming back. I took a leap of faith, and that was it.
Dude, that's great.
Yeah,
I mean, that's an amazing story. Like, one thing about stand-up is once you know you got it, right. Like, you can make a career of it and you funny.
Right.
There's nothing like it, man. I tell everybody they should try it once, because it's such an out-of-body experience. And what I mean by saying that, you could be saying your set out loud, thinking about something totally different, hearing people talk. Like you can hear a waitress say, "Would you like fries with that?" And you're noticing things in the audience.
You
It's
become a
almost like
superhero. You become like
that's
a
what I'm saying.
yeah.
It's almost like you're standing outside of yourself, and although I've never experienced that many sensors up at one time, but you're fully comprehending everything. And this is all while you're saying your act.
Yeah.
This is not like you stopping. This is you doing it and all that's going on.
You become a Navy SEAL out of nowhere.
You do, man. It's such an amazing, and when you crush, you feel like a gladiator in there, man.
Yeah, and that's the thing when I seen Ced come out and he was coming out to that mystical boom, doom.
Yeah.
And I was just like, God, and to this day, I'm still chasing that feeling to see like 16,000 people stand up and going crazy. And he didn't even say a thing yet.
Yeah.
I was like, yo,
he was just back in the car and that's all he was doing.
He was just coming out like this is intro. And then people I'm like, I want that feeling. And I'm still chasing that feeling. I still haven't had it yet.
No, I'm chasing it too. It too. So how long did you stay in Miami till you said I'm gonna try for LA? Or do you still live in Miami?
No, I live here. I live in LA. The Miami, I was in LA. I was going back and forth to LA because I was, in Miami. And I left Miami, still going back and forth. I didn't really.
But what were you going back and forth for? Comedy?
Just comedy. And then what happened is in 2011, Cedric got this TV show on TV Land. And he hit me up. He was like, yo, man, I got this TV show. I think you be good in the writer's room.
Hey, hang on one second. So from DL, touring with him, you met Cedric?
So exactly.
Okay.
I'm doing a show with DL in Cleveland. Cedric's doing some kind of benefit for LeBron. So he stops by to say hi to DL. I happen to be on stage. He sees me. He watches. He's like, yo, this cat is funny. Like, who's this dude? And DL's like, yeah, it's my opener, man. It's my new guy, blah, blah, blah. So me and him exchange. He comes to Miami like a few months later. So I go to see him and say, what's up? And he's like, oh, what's up, man? So we speak. And, I gave him like 2 jokes. I was like, hey, I think this would be funny for you. He did them. He was like, yo, that was dope, man. Like,
yeah.
So fast forward another like 6 months later, he calls me. He's like, yo, I'm doing these shows. If you ain't doing that, I want you to come out and open. I'm like, hell yeah.
Yeah.
So then I started going out with him. And then when he got the TV show, that's when he was just like, I think you'll be good in the writer's room. You'll be able to capture my voice. And I was like, writer's room? I don't know jack about writing. I don't know nothing, dude. I was like, no, I don't want no writing job. I don't want no job. I'm a comedian. You know what I mean? And then he was like, well, it pays this. I was like, well, I mean, I can try it out.
Yeah,
right. So that's how I got into the writing thing.
So because, I got a couple of projects and people saying, with stand-up, your voice. And if a TV show's around you, like Ced knows, his voice. Right. So he wants people like, how tough is that transition to a writer's room? Because I'm thinking about that transition myself, but it's kind of like, I just love performing. I'm doing really well on the road. But I also know that's a skill that, probably as a comedian, you should at least know how to do it,
Right. Well, it was so much at that point. I got 2 kids. I'm living in Miami. I'm opening for people and it's cool.
Yeah.
But the thing was, I was like, when somebody like Cedric calls you with that opportunity, you
don't say no.
You basically can't say no.
Yeah.
That's one. Then 2, I was thinking like, okay, well, this would be steady income, good income that I never seen before. Health insurance. I got these 2 kids. This makes sense. It's not like I'm getting a good job at a warehouse. I'm still in business. You know what I'm saying? So I figured like, I'm going to meet people. I'm going to learn a new skill. This is just stupid for me not to do it.
Yeah.
So I went in there, kept my head down, kept my ears open. I learned Devon Shepard, who you know very well.
Love Devon.
Was one of my OGs there that he was in the room, and he kind of, took me under his wing. And you know what I'm saying? So I just like, I'm a good learner by watching and observing. So I just kind of like picked it up here and there, which I'm still learning, you know what I'm saying? But I know enough, but I was just picking it up here and there, find my spots. Because at first I would just strictly try to just pitch jokes.
Yeah.
That's what I was there for.
Yeah.
Then as we go on, you learn and you learn. I got more confident to be like, nah, well, da, 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 da. And that's how it happened. But yeah, I don't think it ever hurts to have that tool, especially with somebody like you. If you do become, when you become the star of your own TV show, if you can write, then you also can look and be like, nah, not. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? So it doesn't, then you're not just sitting here repeating whatever the hell they say.
Yeah.
No, that's not.
Because sometimes, I've had friends with their own show and they go, it wasn't my show.
Right.
Like it was other people writing what I wrote. I mean, how I talk, but that's not how I talk.
Right. And that's when you got to be bold enough to be like, especially if you're number one on the policy, you got to know, like, I should have some say so.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm not saying I want to just, everything got to be what I want, but if I'm number one, I'm the one y'all promoting. So I should be comfortable.
Now we know in Hollywood and in comedy, there's a lot of highs and there's a lot of lows. Give me one of your like low lows in either like, being on a
TV
show.
Now.
Right now, this is a low?
Yeah, we're not working.
I thought you meant my podcast. I was like, man, come on now. You wrong for that.
No. Right now is a low, but I'm gonna tell you the craziest low. I'm gonna tell you a real low.
Tell me the real.
And then it let me know to never question God or whatever happens.
Yes.
I'm on The Soul Man, the first TV show I told you I was working on, right?
Mm-hmm.
They have this part. Now I always was clear with them. I was like, hey, I want to be on the show too. I'm a comedian and an actor. They have this part, a small part, and I write the part. I write the scene for that part. I write it. So they make me audition for it.
Mm.
I don't get it. Jay Phillips gets it.
How salty were you then?
Man, the reason why I wasn't too messed up about it is because it was Jay Phillips, somebody I know, and I was happy for him.
Yeah, but you were mad.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. But what kept me from being like just angry and so mad about it was that it was Jay Phillips. So I was like, all right, well, at least it's my boy.
So who told you the news?
They told me I think the showrunner or whatever. It was like, oh yeah, they went with somebody else. And I was just like, like I wrote it in my voice. So y'all said I can't, but fast forward, right?
Yeah.
They end up just giving me a role. That role ended up being reoccurring.
Look at that.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, had I got that one part that he had got, I'd have did the one.
And
I end up doing like 15.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So ever since that time, I don't question anything. I'm like, all right, well, whatever. It ain't for me. But at that moment, that was pretty low right there, dog. Like it don't get any more than that. You know what I'm saying?
Like Kevin Hart has the lowest low I've ever heard in the industry, man. Him on stage, ready to be introduced for his own TV show at ABC, and they didn't tell him. He flew all his friends out there. He's on stage waiting to go on, and then is told right before he's about to go on, they canceled the show before it even started and had the new cast of the show replacing it right there.
They end up still doing 6 or something. They did like 6 episodes, I think, or something like
did it? Well, I'm going by his book, unless he lied in his book.
I don't know. Maybe it was a whole nother show that got canceled then.
He said this was his first big chance.
Okay.
And
that never happened.
And it never even started.
Yeah,
and they had the cast. This was in his book. They had the cast there that replaced him. They walked by him when he was on stage.
Of the other show they went with.
Yes, and they never told him.
Yeah, that gotta hurt.
Man, I can't think of anything lower. But then he goes in his book, because he's always motivated. He goes, I give it a second, be sad about it, and then brush it off. Because there's nothing you can do.
And that's how I was with the Jay Phillips thing. Again, like I said, and I'm glad it was Jay Phillips, because then it kind of took some of the sting off. But it was just like, well, how I'm gonna be real mad, because I still got to go to work here tomorrow.
Yeah.
I still got 20 more weeks of work with these people. So it was just kind of like, I'm glad I never displayed that, because I think that's what made them be like, all right, give this to Malik.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? When that other part came up, it was just like he handled that thing with grace and class. So give him that. I didn't show out and get mad or stop working and like just sitting there. So, you know what I mean?
Sulking. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's what ended up helping me get that role that ended up being reoccurring. And like I was in multiple episodes, still getting residual checks from that. So that's the only thing I was in this business. You're gonna have real lows, but you're gonna have a lot of highs.
Okay, what's the biggest high?
The biggest
so far. High. I know there's gonna be many more that's bigger, but right now,
I think the biggest high was the first TV show I sold 2 years ago in the room. Like we want it. It was no, let's think about it. That was crazy. You know what I'm saying? That was a huge high. And the second high, I would say, even though it wasn't a money-wise high, but being in a scene with Eddie Murphy.
What movie was that?
You People on Netflix.
Oh, okay.
Now, I mean, it was quick, but shit, it was in all the trailers for the movie. That's the part they used for all the trailers.
Now. That's all you need.
You know what I'm saying? So it was me and Eddie going back and forth, and even on a Tonight Show they used that. So that was pretty. I was like,
so were there, like, when they first said action, was there any nerves because you were across from Eddie Murphy?
You know what? Not really. I think at that point I was just kind of like, the part was so small that I don't think I was like, yeah, whatever, and it was Kenya Barris. I know Kenya. It was Anthony Anderson. I know Anthony.
Yeah.
So it felt familiar. Had I just been there with Eddie and I ain't know nobody else, probably be like, oh shit, you know what I mean? But
yeah,
it was there. So it felt like, all right, I'm okay. You know what I mean? So,
I was on this show on Apple, probably like a couple years ago, and it was my first big gig I got. I was like a regular role on that show, and I remember my first scene, and I thought I was gonna be so nervous, but I don't know if it's because we do stand up.
Right.
It was nothing. Like it's literally, I pictured, when they say action, I hope I do, but it's kind of like, you just do it, because I think stand up has trained us like, nothing's hard. This is you doing the hardest thing. Everything else is easy.
And especially, I think it's a movie, so it's not a multicam. Now, I think if I go on, let's say you had a multicam show and I came in and did a guest star, I think I would be a little nervous, because that's almost like performing live, but these not my words. You know what I'm saying?
I got you.
I'm like, I hope this shit is really funny for real.
Yeah, right.
But when you're doing like a movie or you're doing a single cam, ain't no laughter any goddamn way. So you just kind of like, all right, well, whatever, let's go. Let's just
it's all. Then those are all about the edit,
right?
Honestly.
Right. But
I tell everybody, I tell everybody, know the editor. Find out who that editor is, because they can make you win awards, or they can make you not ever get employed again.
Right. But to go on a multicam show and being a new guy on set, all these people know each other. They're in season 3. You know what I'm saying? They got inside jokes, and here you are like, oh shit, I gotta hit this joke. You know what I mean? And of course, the writers never think they joke ain't funny.
Oh yeah, it's you if it ain't funny.
Exactly. You know what I mean? So I think a multicam would make me a little more nervous than doing like a movie or a single cam show.
Yeah.
You know?
So I mean, what season are y'all? Season 7 of The Neighborhood?
6 when we go back. Yeah.
When you go back 6, man.
Yeah.
That's pretty amazing, because I remember I was at CBS when that show launched. I worked for CBS.
Yeah.
I was on the lot, and the show's so funny, and man, it's great to see that type of show work.
Right.
on television, and people still come around for it because I feel like, even the networks everything's getting just like more segregated, just ripped apart, and comedy's not selling like it used to be on TV. You know what I mean? So it's hard to have a comedy that's successful.
I feel like the thing is, man, I think some things aren't broken. They just making up problems that don't exist. Like, who the hell doesn't want a comedy?
I know, but the movies aren't working anymore.
They're not good.
Yeah, I know.
A lot of them are not good. That's the thing. Like, and I think it starts from the top too. A lot of these executives are not good.
Yeah.
You
Or
know what I'm
funny,
saying?
or know what funny is.
Yeah. So if you don't have good executives, you're usually gonna have a shitty product. I don't care who you put in the movie.
Yeah.
I don't care who you put on the TV show. If the executives are trash, it's gonna reflect. You know what I mean? So a lot of I think a lot of times shows get canceled and movies don't do well, and only the actors and the writers get the blame. But that's not necessarily true, because I guarantee the version you saw is not the version them people turned in.
No, not at all.
You
Not
know
at
what I
all.
mean? So
Yeah. I think this is one thing I noticed from being in writers' rooms and different places. There's so much overthinking.
yeah.
Right? If it's funny, it's funny. But there's like, well, how's this person going to take it? How's this person going to take it? Can the network be behind this? And this is not even controversial stuff.
Right. And
Everything is so, like, I love one of my favorite sitcoms ever. Well, for the Jeffersons and All in the Family, right? Back in the day. Like, they just talk like real people talk back then.
Right.
You know what I mean? And to me, it seemed there was no like, well, should this person say that? No, they were just, this is what they say. They're going to say it,
What's amazing to me is that you look at Fox News.
Yeah.
And the crazy stuff they say, and they still have advertisers.
Yeah.
The racist thing, misogynistic stuff they say. But God forbid you say a joke on a sitcom. Oh no. I'm like, wait a minute, but Pepsi advertising on Fox News, and what? I'm confused.
You know what's interesting? And I had a conversation with Mike Yard and John Lasser on this. They're from the Comedy Cellar in New York. Legendary guys. And I was like, you know what's funny? Today, people hold comedians' words higher than politicians.
Than the president.
And I think it's because it comes from so much truth, whether you like it or not. And I think people are just now know politics are just BS, right? But when a comedian says something, I have a few jokes that a couple people got mad about, and I'm the most family-friendly guy in the world. But it was from my mom's point of view that a lot of people don't agree with. But all the Asians like, yeah, this is how we think. Right. But it offended a couple of people, so it's kind of like a Dave Chappelle, a Bill Burr, like Dave Chappelle, Chris Rock, Bill Burr, other comedians, their words are held to such a high standard that I think people forget it's comedy. Like, they actually think we're telling 100% truth, and this is what we really think, and not searching for a joke at all.
No,
it's a very weird process.
I think it's also we're more accessible.
Yeah.
And I think it's because, we're closer to them than Trump will ever be.
Yeah.
They feel like
anybody.
They feel like they could reach out to you and do something to you and bring you back down, because they don't look at them people as being even, well, he's too far.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nothing to do about that. But I can get your ass to humble himself and bring him back down. He over there living good, doing TV shows, and it's almost like it's like a hatred, and it's just like, the offended thing to me is just like, at the end of the day, what I realize is it ain't a good joke if somebody not offended.
Right? Somebody
has to be mad. If it's a good joke, somebody's not laughing.
Yes, because it's about them.
It has to hit somebody.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, comedy is tragedy. Nobody laughs at the person walking down the street that didn't slip.
Yeah.
Like,
there has to be a victim. Is that what you're saying?
What am I laughing at? Nothing happened.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's why like, you look at the Dave Chappelle's, Chris Rocks and Bill Burrs and Kevin Hart.
Yeah,
Those
Kevin Hart.
comedians to me, I respect them even more because it's like they're so rich and so far gone and they still find humor. Because we all know it's easy to write jokes when your life is fucked up.
Yeah, yeah. I have comedians that actually go out and they don't look for trouble, but they like to put themselves in circumstances where something fun can happen.
Right.
You know, that's either like going out really late at night with some random people they don't know just to find stories. You know, like it's like comedians are always searching for that next story, you know, to tell on stage.
For somebody like Kevin to still be funny is like, dude, that mean that dude really works hard at it, and that means he's really talented. Because when you're that famous and that rich, you don't have to be funny no more.
No.
You know what I mean? And
he could sell out. He could sell out an arena right now and not be funny.
But he's still funny.
Yeah.
And that's, you know, it's just like, even with me, I'm not rich, but I realized at one point I'd be like, I don't know if I could keep doing these gas so high jokes.
Yeah.
You know, it's because it's like, is it really true?
Yeah.
Or am I just doing it because it's a funny idea?
No, I got you. So like, what is the ultimate goal for you, Malik? Is it the Kevin Hart path where you're selling out stadiums? And do whatever. Yeah.
I want it all. I'm not one of them people
that
like, well, I'm cool. Nope. All of it.
All of it. Me too.
Box office, arenas, movies, all of it. I want it all. I want it all.
The guy that brought me in 12 years ago in the comedy was Joe Coy. He was my mentor. And now he's selling out stadiums. It's so crazy to travel with a guy that was barely selling out clubs.
Yeah.
And now he's selling out stadium. Like, I was there for that whole thing. Right. You know what I mean?
But you know it could happen. You know it could happen. You saw it happen.
You do. And I think that's what, when people say you gotta be in LA for it to happen. That's because all the business happens there. But I think it's bigger than that. I think because you see people in real life that are making it happen, and then you see they're no different than you.
Yeah.
Because when you live far away, I remember I lived in Miami, did my radio show. American Idol was the biggest radio show TV show. Ryan Seacrest, I was like, there's no way I could be a host like Ryan Seacrest, right?
Right.
I moved to LA, worked for E. He works right now. My radio studio's next to his. He walked by every morning and go, what's up, yo? I was like, oh, that's that dude. There's no, and it makes I think it makes people that live outside the bubble, once they get in, they're like, oh, I see this is happening all around me. I just need to work on my craft and be in the right spots. You know what I mean?
I'm gonna tell you one, like, because my two mentors I got three. I say Marvin Dixon, DL, and Cedric, but Cedric and DL were already stars when I met them.
Yeah.
One person that I'm watching this thing happen, which is one of my best friends in the game right now, and I'm watching him like, I said, oh, this dude is because he's about to go to theaters soon. Ali Sadiq. I'm watching him.
I love Ali. He's from Houston. I'm watching him.
Yep. I'm watching him just be like, oh, because I've done weekends with him now, adding 2 shows. I'm just like, wow.
Yeah.
Like, okay, like, that's my boy. I was just like, that's crazy.
How'd you meet Ali?
Me and Ali met back in the day in Miami. He came and did the Monday, Tuesday nights.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah,
man. That's my thing. I never had a crew I came up with, and that's what I miss about comedy. Right. I never had, because I was on TV already. I went backwards.
Right.
I was on like CBS. I did like hosting stuff, and then started comedy. I was on Chelsea lately, started comedy. So I never had a fraternity that I came up in. And that's what I respect about, like, you have tons of stories with comedians. I have 5 stories with 5 different comedians. I have 5 close comedian friends.
Right.
But the rest, I didn't have that. Oh, we did open mics. We did this. I don't have that. And I miss that,
I actually don't have it as much as you think, though. Like,
okay.
To this day, a lot of comedians don't know me, and I don't know a lot of the comedians because I never really went in the trenches like that. The rooms, doing all the bars.
Yeah.
Because what happened was,
like, you got picked up by DL and Cedric.
I got picked up by DL. Like,
you were good.
2-3 years in. So now I'm just in these comedy clubs with only DL. So I don't get to meet all the other comedians because Friday through Monday, I'm gone.
So you kind of like me then. You
Yeah,
didn't go up. Yeah, you went a different route too. You got
yeah,
lucky and they loved your comedy. But
yeah,
yeah, Ali, he's from Houston. Mo Amir's from Houston. I'm from Houston. So
yeah.
it's kind of like I'm starting to move into theaters as well. And it's such a crazy thing to see. But I'm funding my own documentary. I've funded my own special that got me to that next level. But I got the whole idea from Joe Coy because it's so cool to see a person go, why? Because he had a lot of people open up for him that blew up right after, like right before him,
Right,
years before he did. And
right,
they were his openers. And I
right.
remember he goes, what are you doing wrong? And I go, I think you need to change management. Because if you see him, like, he's one of the funniest live comedians you ever see.
Yeah.
And I'm like, he changes management, and then just like the Netflix, it's just crazy to be there from beginning to end. I mean, from beginning to where he is now.
And that's what keeps me going and keeps me from, like, especially right now, falling into a depression. It's just like, I know it's gonna happen. It's just a matter of just stay ready, don't give up, stay sharp. You're gonna get that shot. And that's because I've been doing this 23 years now.
Yeah.
And if you would have asked me 10 years ago, I'd be like, yeah, man, I'm big as shit. You know what I'm saying? 23 years ago. Here I am still even opening for people.
The hard thing is, though, is not, comparing yourself to other people that passed you.
Right.
Because this is a long race, man. You got to be like, I remember I got mad at my agent one day and I go, why is everybody getting Netflix specials that I think aren't funnier than me?
Bro,
that I've been at the clubs with, they didn't do well. And I crushed at that same club. Right.
And then you watch the special and you like,
and I'm like,
it's not special.
It's not special. And my agent sat me down and in the nicest way goes, do you know their history with the person at Netflix?
Right.
I go, no. He says, maybe they grew up together, maybe they helped them out in the past, or maybe they're just friends, or maybe they have a great mutual friend now, or maybe they have some connect we don't even know about.
Or don't want to know about.
Right?
Right.
And he goes, what you need to worry about is that's not your race.
Right.
You got to worry about your own lane in your own race.
Yeah.
Because you worrying about everybody else's race, it just distracts you. And I'll never forget, he said that 7 years ago, and I'm never looked back. I see people blow up still and all that stuff, but I see I see myself rising too. It's not meteoric. It's not like, but every year it's steady. Last year I was in La Jolla, sold out one show. This year I just came back, sold out 4.
Right.
Denver, last time I was there, sold out 1,200 tickets. This time going back, doing a theater. So I'm seeing the growth.
Yeah.
You got to stay in your lane. So don't get frustrated. It happens. It's just like writing. You get better and better, but it's about exposure. You just got to get exposure, man.
You got to get exposure, man. I've been trying to go hard on my Instagram and try to build that up and just try to take things into my own hands instead of, like, waiting for somebody to.
No, you can't wait. Now, are you doing any work in LA? Are you going up anywhere? What's your deal?
I mostly go up at the factory a lot, but I go up a lot. I'm like one of the factory favorites. And so yeah, it's good, man. I'm building and building and building. But again, I try to stay positive and try to stay. It's a fine line between being humble and confident at the same time, because I used to try to be so humble, and I realized, like, that shit don't work.
No,
we don't live in that climate no more. People don't appreciate humble.
They don't. I see. I think they do, but I think the humbleness comes from, I'm doing my own thing. I'm not, like, I'm doing my own thing. I'm creating my own path and not really worrying about what other people say. That's what I got to is I go in, do my set, and I bounce.
Right. Right.
I'm here to work and do it. And you stay above the riffraff of all the crap talking in the club. Because the longer you stay in that club, you could say something wrong. So I've learned that I go in and out, or you could hear something and just be like, yeah. And they go, see, they agree. And now you all up, you know what I mean?
One thing I've realized, and for me, and maybe it's just how I feel, especially like with, because I know this game is a lot of word of mouth.
Yeah.
And I notice, man, the people that feel like you're close to them, those are the people that's more likely not gonna help you at all.
It's crazy, right?
I notice white comics are always like, yo, Malik, you a fucking monster. Malik, I don't want to go after you. Never want a black comic would never say that to me. It's like
Really?
people in my like who feel like I'm in their class or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like they would never like give it up like that, or it's kind of like,
I don't know, man. I don't know, man. I feel like maybe it's just the people you surround yourself with, but I mean, the people I hang around, like they're always like complimentary of each other, But
right.
I understand what you're saying though. You don't really hear that a lot, but I get it. I get it. Yeah.
And I've noticed by doing the factory a lot, I've noticed like, oh, okay, because I don't know if it, and I hate to say, maybe it's a cultural thing, I don't know, but it's definitely like I get a lot of love from, I mean, I get love from comics, period.
Yeah.
I'm not just saying like but it just it feels different. It feels,
I got you. It
you know,
feels real.
yeah, it just feels different. It doesn't feel like, well, let me just stay on his good side just in case he blow up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because it's a lot of that shit happens.
Oh, bruh.
You know,
Bruh. Well, it's
yeah,
Hollywood. I mean, Hollywood is what Hollywood is. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah.
What's you better be nice to everybody on the way up because you're gonna come down.
Or you don't know who gonna go up.
No.
that person you talk shit to, next thing you're going to meet, they the executive. You like, God damn.
Right. Well, Malik, if you ever around if I check out my calendar, if you ever want to jump on a show, let me know. I would love to have you, man.
Let me know. We'll talk offline.
Yeah, we'll talk offline. I'll get your number.
I'm not doing anything right now.
All right. How can people find you? Let them know.
Malik S Comedy, MALIKS Comedy on everything, man. So holla at me. You can watch me on Netflix. You can on demand me on The Neighborhood. I write and I have a part on there. So
there you go. All right, Malik. Thank you so much, man.
Appreciate you, brother.